Thank you, Raleigh. I really appreciate that, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. I think you're going to have a really good experience here all throughout the day. I'm showing the website here briefly. I just want everybody to know where that is. That's under highpercenttrading.com. If you go to the website, you'll find a lot of information there. And more importantly, we did promise that today, if you're interested, you're going to be able to get a free 7-day trial download of what I'm going to be showing today, and it's going to be fully operational for you. This is the website, and we'll circle back to this again. But again, I'll show how to do this a little bit later. But this is going to be available today for you. Okay. Let me do a brief disclaimer, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'll do it verbally, as everybody knows or should know. Everything we say and do here at High Percent Trading is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any type of financial trading always involves the element of risk, and therefore you should only be trading with capital that is risk capital that you can afford to lose. Nothing we say or do here in these live presentations and any webinars, in any media materials, indicators, strategies, or anything else shown or provided should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, any and all trades that you do take are taken at your sole risk and discretion. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to show is a number of trades that took place actually yesterday. I was prepared to go forward and show some live markets here this morning, but just before I came in, Ninja encountered a problem and I didn't want to go back and reboot it. But I'm going to come back and show a few other things, but let's go ahead and get started here on this. And I'm going to go through several markets here as we go. Okay, now we're looking at a screen. First of all, this is from the Bund. This is the FGBL, and what we're looking at here is the software that is available here for trial download. Basically, takes up to 20 different indicators, and these can be custom indicators here in high percent trading, and also other indicators that are within NinjaTrader. And we'll actually filter all of those together to produce one signal. Now, as I indicated, for most traders, the difference and the problem that they have is determining when a market is chopping and when a market is trending. And if you've been trading for any length of period of time, you'll know that that's really the bane for all traders. We've developed an approach that really takes both considerations into account and produces very nice trade signals. Now, these trade signals that I'm showing on the chart, these were all generated in real time yesterday. You can see that here in the Bund yesterday, this market was very choppy, but still it was entering some nice trades. When the market started to take off, it also continued to do those trades. And I'm going to go through these a little bit. The other thing that you should notice, or I want to point out, and unfortunately I'm not able to show that again this morning because what happened just before I stepped in here was all of these signals that are being generated can have trades entered automatically on the NinjaTrader platform for you, and they can be managed by any ATM strategy that you employ. Okay, and that means that they will place initial stops, it'll place profit targets, it will do trail stops, and actually will close the positions out for you. And that can be done either automatically through the trader itself or through another platform that actually works on ChartTrader. And I'll discuss a little bit more of that. But this is what I wanted to point out. Every time there's a blue arrow, this is a buy. Every time there's a red arrow, that's a sell. And these can be actually executed in real time by you or automatically. What we don't normally like to do is to take the first trade arrow in the direction after a color change. So in other words, we were blue here. This is a buy here. Okay, we had a color change. We had another buy here. So you can see as we moved on through here, you had some very nice trades, all resulting in good profit. I think the title of this was How You Can Be Profitable 22 out of 23 Trading Days Using This Approach. If you follow it, that's exactly what's happening right now. And I'm going to cycle through these in the limited time that we have available. So again, this is the Bund. This was from yesterday. This is trading the European Session Open, which is the Pacific time, midnight. That's 3 a.m. Eastern. Of course, a lot of traders trade that, especially from overseas. And you can see this is the first, basically, 4 hours of the Bund. Now, if I continue on, continuing on, you can see that it had a very nice trade here. And then as we cycle through some chop here, the algorithms on this basically did not fire any trades. Had another trade here that moved up at least to get you a scalp. This takes us out to about 7 hours of trading. And then as we continue on, this is where I showed the trade here. And then we had another nice trade as the market trended and then continued. So again, markets typically trend only 30% of the time, and they basically chop the other 70%. This software, these algorithms take that into account. Now this is the Bund. Let me move on to another contract here. I believe the next one, this is the Aussie dollar. All right, some of you trade the Aussie dollar. Again, this is at midnight Pacific. And I'm going to show examples of various trading sessions, the European session, the pit open sessions for crude, Canadian dollar, which trades a little bit differently. I'm going to show that. And then, of course, our U.S. equity markets, which open at 9:30 a.m. So these setups work throughout the day. But here's the Aussie dollar. You can see it took a nice short trade here for at least a scalp profit. And then as it continued, another nice trade setup here that caught a big run. Normally, in your trading, if you can, it's best to try to employ a two contract position. And that is, if you can enter trading at least in multiples of 2, what you want to do is try to scalp the first one. And a scalp can be anywhere from 5 to 9 ticks, and then try to hold what's called a runner for the big move down. You can see here, this got you a scalp, but not a runner. This one not only got you the nice scalp trade, but got you the big runner going to the downside as well. James said the trick is how do you know when to scalp and when to hold? Basically, James, what you can do on this is you don't. The answer basically is you don't know that, okay? Because hindsight's all 20/20, right? But when you're in a trade, you don't know if that market's going to continue to chop, and you don't know if it's going to start running. Typically, a runner only goes 1 out of 4 times. So to answer your question, once you enter this trade here, you get your scalp going, and you can basically just take this as it runs all the way down until eventually you get a trend color change back the other way, okay? So you don't know when you take a trade up here whether it's going to run or whether it's just going to chop, but that's what you want to do. And there's several other ways to do this. If you decide to come in and take the trial, we have webinars every day, and we'll go through to show good stop management. Let me continue on. I'm going to show more markets and field questions as we go. I think, yeah, this is 6A continuing now. Throughout, we saw here the short trade for a nice scalp. Now here's a long trade, and this trade doesn't work. Okay, And so the question is, I think from David, what is your stop loss? Initially, when you enter the trade right here, okay, your initial stop is right up under here. That's where your initial stop should be. So this trade resulted in about a 5 tick loss. Not every trade's a winner, right? But you're going to see that most of these are very, very high percentage trades. Then you got the nice short trade here with a pretty nice runner. And then this is the example that I'm speaking of, okay? This is the Aussie dollar getting long here, right? You got your scalp and you got a runner. And you could basically still be in this trade if you wanted to. Notice you got another entry here. We're always looking to take the next entry off of a color change. I think this is it for the Aussie. Let's move to the next one. Now this is the pound, okay? And the pound tends to be a little more choppy, but still you can see this is large chop in this area, long trade here, and then it actually reversed you out and took you on short for a nice move down. Okay. That's all you need, or one or two of these trades in a session. Now notice also, I know a lot of you who are traders, you'll notice there's a lot of activity right here. This is at 1:30 a.m. and the reason for that is that there was a major report that came out in the market. You always need to be aware of when the major reports are, and there's actually software here in the program that will tell you for each market what major reports are affecting it. This was a major report that affected the pound yesterday. Okay, so because of that, you really can't trade during that time period. It's basically untradeable. From here all the way out to here, this was just a 2-minute span. What we normally like to teach and normally like to do is you've got to wait 2 minutes after a major report. Major reports are anything that affects the market in the way of like non-farm payroll, uh, uh, Philly Fed, FOMC interest rate announcements. Uh, it's very important you do that. So there's no trading that's taking place during this time. You're going to wait the requisite time period, right? And then after that, you begin your trading again. Uh, so again, these are just examples, and the software is filtering these automatically. There's no guesswork involved in this. It's actually filtering through a number of parameters here and enabling you to take these trades. Uh, a short trade here for a scalp, a long trade here for a scalp, and then this is what you want to get. All you need is one of these in a session, and you can end up making some really good profits on a big move down. Question from David, is it possible to use only one contract? Absolutely. You can absolutely do that, David. The nice thing about this is you can set the number of contracts that you want to trade to 1, 2, or more than that. And the good thing about the way it manages trades is you can set different stops, different profit targets, and different trail stops for each one of your entries. Phil asks, what's the chart speed on the bars? These are special bars, Phil, that come with the package. There is no speed on them as they develop. They print in real time. Um, for the most part, unless you've got a major report coming, uh, they handle all the markets very, very well. And even on the major report, they'll just shotgun, but you just can't trade during that period. Yes, Michael asks, is there back testing and live performance stats on the trader? There absolutely is, Michael. Now that won't be in the trial package, but that is available. All right, let me continue on here because we have a lot to cover. And this is 6B, continuing again throughout the session. Basically what I'm doing is just going through the whole session. You can see a long trade here, followed by a color change, another long trade here, and then here's one that didn't work out. Now this is late. This is noon Pacific, which is 1300, actually 1500 Eastern. This is not really a time you want to be trading currencies. Okay, but again, you can see all throughout this session, Every one of these charts I'm going to show are all profitable trading this. Okay, here's the Canadian dollar. Now I wanted to show the Canadian dollar because it's a little bit different. The Canadian dollar, when I say is different, is not really a good instrument you want to trade in what I call the European session. The way the Canadian dollar works is you basically want to start trading it after 5 a.m. Pacific. That's 8 a.m. Uh, Eastern. So that's what I'm showing here. And you can see this is an example of a market that was trending, okay, versus chopping. And still, you get the best of both worlds here. You get these beautiful entries, and you're able to manage these long runners when it's trending and when it's chopping. So you had a good entry here and two nice ones here for the big run. You had another one that resulted in a pretty good trade to the downside, and then this one didn't work. This was one trade that didn't work. But again, you get a relatively small loss on this, 5 ticks compared to probably over 100 on the run. We had some questions here on how the packages work, and I'll address those later as we get towards the end here. Um, I will circle back to that. Now here's an example of chop. I think all of you will pretty much agree with me. And nothing's changing on this, by the way. I'm just running everything the same. I've not changed any of the parameters on this, not done anything. This is a good example of chop. I think you'd all agree that this type of market is a choppy market compared to what we had here. This was the running market and it caught these trades, right? And I want to show this. This is 7 a.m. out here. And then we move to here, 7 a.m. Now we've gone into chop. And it's handling that just as well. A nice trade here, a good trade here. Now, a trade here, if you're managing this trade, you got a scalp, but you got taken out, and then you got the nice run to the downside. So again, that's the bane of all traders is trying to determine when a market's going to chop versus when a market's going to trend. If you're employing a trending technique in a chopping market, you're going to get torn apart, right? If you're trying to employ a chopping technique and you're going into a trending market, you're going to miss the moves like this, right? So this octopus, and it's called the octopus because originally when it came out, it was using 8 different parameters, inputs for indicators, and now it uses up to 20, and it's actually split into two, so you can run 2 different ones at once. But you're going to really like this, and I urge everybody to take the trial on this. And I'm going to circle back to it. So again, there's no guesswork involved in this. You don't have to determine if the markets are going to trend or they're going to chop. The software is going to filter that for you. Now let's move on. Okay, here's the 6E contract. All right, here's our 6E contract, and this one was a little bit choppier. We were in chop here. You can see in chop for basically the first couple of hours. So what we have here is it's handling the chop, going long, going short. You want to take 2 entries, and that's basically it off of one color change. So if you're blue, you take one and then a second one, if you can get it. And then we broke to the downside. So initially, you got a nice little short trade here. And then, I don't know if this market took off. It did. A little bit later, again, we moved from this condition to this, and we took off to the downside. So you caught the nice trade. Remember, we were in chop all the way up to here, caught the trade, and then got the big run down. Tried to go long here. This one didn't work. Took about a 5 or 6 tick loss, and then you caught the short trade here on the runner again. This only brings us out for the first 7 hours of the trading. Bill says, let's see the U.S. futures. I'll show that, Bill. I will get to it. Okay. And then we went back into chop again. You know, Remember, markets only trend 70%, 30% of the time. So you got a nice short trade here, a long trade that didn't work, and then back to here. Again, everything I'm showing, part of the reason I'm showing this to Bill is I want to show that if you follow these techniques, if you use this program, that every one of these instruments I'm showing is profitable, trading these approaches. Let's see what our next one is. Okay, here's the Swiss franc. All right, some of you trade the Swiss franc. So there's also a way to catch the bigger move here, but in the Swiss from the evening, you had a good short trade here. Here's one that didn't work, and here's a long that didn't work. So you started out on the short side. You had two small losses, but not to worry, right? These markets eventually will get you back to where you need. 10 or 12 ticks on a loss combined is not real big, and then you caught the nice short trade for the big runner down here, right? And again, that brings us into 7 hours in the session. And notice what happens as we continued to go through here. The software said, you know what, there's really not any good high percentage trades here, so there aren't any more. Now it takes all the guesswork out because, as you know, if you're trying to figure these markets out, they're almost impossible to figure out. Generally, what you think, the opposite happens. Here's the dollar index. A lot of you trade the dollar. Okay, so here's the dollar index. Good question, Brian. Some really good questions coming in. I'll try to come back to them. Here's the dollar. Again, kind of a choppy market at the beginning, but a nice short trade here. A long trade here that got a scalp. The short trade didn't. And then you caught the long trade down here about 3 o'clock in the morning. And that trade continued to move. This is what I wanted to show. You see the trade here? If you have a runner and tuck it away, you can take the big run all the way to the upside here. Let me address a couple questions here. Phil said, how many futures charts with these algorithms can you set up before overloading a semi-fast computer? You can have up to 10, not a problem. It's very lean. I don't recommend that many. Most traders end up trading between 4 and 5 instruments. That's pretty much what you want. Jack says he's got 15 charts loaded. No problem. Well, there you go. So you're running it. Yeah. Jack said, well, you already have it then. The new package is lean. Does the program exit as well? Absolutely. Again, keep in mind, and I wish I could show this, but if you take the trial, I'm going to show later where you can come in. We'll have a webinar tomorrow that you can come into, and on Saturday and all the following week, and you'll see exactly how these all operate. You can all ask your questions in there as well. But based on profit targets, stops, trail stops, all built into the ATM strategy that you're using. I don't know if the NinjaTrader presenter that we just had got into ATM strategies at all, but it's very robust. Question from Anna, wouldn't the long be exited at 6:15 when it goes red? If you choose to do that type of exit, Anna, but you don't have to. You certainly don't have to. All right, let's keep moving on. That was the dollar, and that was catching a big run to the upside. Okay, and you can see now we moved into big trending moves. Okay, and it's easily catching these moves. Every time there's a color change, you go from red to blue, that's a new entry. Go from red to blue, that's a new entry. Red to blue, new entry. All right, and here's the dollar moving back into chop, right? Back into chop. You're taking some scalp, and then you catch your run. And that brings us, I think, here's crude oil. Now, crude oil, I like to trade crude oil basically Let me back up. Why did it do that? I don't know. I like to trade crude oil starting right at about 6 a.m. Okay, you can continue to trade it at other times, but again, we're kind of moving into other markets now. So crude oil is a good trader starting at 6 a.m. or slightly before. You can see that it took a long trade here. Remember, what I normally like to do is take one trade, and then if you can get a second one, that's okay. You got a short trade here, and this is what I like about this. This short trade got you a scalp, but didn't get you the runner. You were able to re-enter it here. All right. This trade didn't work, but then you got short here, long here, short, and then long. This is another good feature. You can trade both sides of this as you move into chop. Carlos asked a question: do you send out all 16 indicators pre-programmed, or have to work the trial that you're going to get on this has a template in there that's all pre-programmed. Okay, it's basically the one I'm showing here now. Uh, but you'll have the ability, the functionality here to basically do anything that you want with this. Okay, this is designed uh, for you to work with all of these filters, because there are many other scenarios that you're going to be able to come up with that you're going to like that obviously can't be covered in one template. Uh, Here's crude continuing on. Now, again, what I wanted to point out was this was from yesterday. So again, we had an inventory report in crude yesterday, right? Crude oil inventory came out at 7:30 Pacific, and which is 9:30 Eastern. If you've traded crude oil, you know that it's untradeable during that time period. Okay, you just can't trade it. So you have to stand down. And what I wanted to point out was here, this is where the report came out right here at 7:30, right here. This is all a big shotgun right here. All of this that's going on, even though there's trade arrows being presented, this market's way too fast to trade. So you stand down, basically you stand down before the report, and then you start trading 2 minutes after the report. Things settle down. And I'm going to show the 2-minute trading after the report. That's going to be starting. We're still 7:30, right? And this brings you to the 2-minute mark right here. Okay. So initially you got a short trade here. Now there's also a way to catch the runner here, but I'm just showing the most conservative trades. You got the short trade here. And then we continued. Again, there were no trades other than this first short trade after the report. There were no trades until the long trade here. Remember, you only want to take two. You don't want to keep coming back to the well. 1, 2, okay. 1 on a scalp. This one didn't work. And then this is what I like about it. Short for profit, long for profit, long again, and short. Let's see, John said, if the market range is narrow and you're currently in a long and a short entry shows, are you now in both the long, or does one cancel the other? Good question on that one, John. The trader that's on this, you have the ability to set on a reverse. So for example, when you got long here, you could say, okay, I'm gonna manage this with my stops. I'm gonna manage this with my profit targets. Okay, but if I get a reversal the other way, I want to close that position and reverse. So you can elect to do that if you want. That you can elect to do. Let's see if we have more examples here of crude. Yeah. So this is what I was showing over here. That was the long, that was the reversal, and you caught the nice big move to the downside. Here's a good example of a short trade that you got a scalp with, but if you had a tight stop, you got stopped out. and then back in. Let me just close this one part. It's kind of in my way here. There we go. I can see the questions. And let's see, are we continuing here? Yeah, here's crude oil continuing. Remember, we're only looking at trying to take one trade per color bar, and then the second one, sometimes you can catch a good move, sometimes you're going to get stopped out like the case was here. But my rule of thumb is I like to just stick with the one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, here's the ES contract. All right, now what I wanted to show on the ES contract, some of you trade this, right? Now the equities, I like starting to trade the equities, of course, at beginning after 6 a.m. Pacific time. That's 9 a.m. Eastern, right? And the reason for part of that is the pits open. We get our pit opens at 9:30 Eastern. So anywhere in that time period, anywhere from 9 to 9:30 is always a good time to start trading. Where would those trades be at this point in time? Here's our pit open at 6:30. So here's trading the ES contract. Here's your first trade entry, one per color, right? Long, short, long, short. And this really puts us out to here. Now this is the, what we call the aftermarket. This is after the pits have closed. But again, these markets are basically 24 hours. It'll continue to trade if you want. But again, this is the pit session from yesterday in the ES contract. So it's long, short, one more short entry here, and then one long entry here, and that basically puts you to the close. Sanzo said, "Can you show that? Can this work in market replay?" It absolutely works in market replay. Absolutely does. Okay, I'm obviously not prepared to show that today because our time is limited here, and I want to try to get as many questions dealt with as I can. Let's see what our next market is here. Okay, here's the NASDAQ. Here's the NASDAQ from the pit open again yesterday. Okay, so NASDAQ, again, we're in this really bad chop here. Okay, NASDAQ short for a very nice profit. Short trade, this one didn't work. Okay, this was not enough to get a scalp. So you had a really good trade here. Nothing here and nothing here. So here's an indication where some traders get a little bit down because you take two losses in a row, right? This was a loser and this was a loser. But it's about 5 to 6 ticks. Not a big deal, especially when you had a nice move like this, right? So you had a loser here. You had a loser here. You're back on the wagon here again. This is still in the first half hour of trading. Long here, right? And then short. Short again for a scalp. Remember, you don't want the third one. Short with a scalp. Got stopped. Back to short. You don't want the third one. And then long. You can run this long up. Question, is that feasible to manually enter a trade at a signal in the next candle? Absolutely. You can absolutely do this. If you take the trial and come to the webinars tomorrow or Saturday or even the following week, and I'm going to show where all those are on the website, we're going to absolutely show how to do that. Again, you can manually fire it if you want. You can let the automatic trader in the Octopus trade it, or you can use one of our multi-trader platforms. We have two of them, one called the Multi-Trader Pro and one is the Mini Trader. The Mini Trader will also fire. If you just set it to fire on an arrow, it will. I think Yana's showing where to go to the website to get the trial. She's doing that periodically for us. All right, next one. I think we still have some NASDAQ here. Yeah. So again, we're entering on the chop. That was the long trade here, second long trade here. Remember, you don't want to keep taking these trades, just one and possibly two per color change. Short here, nice trade. Short here, reversing to long. All right. Short got stopped out. Short, short. And then you caught this really big move down here. Okay. I showed the stop out here, but then you caught the huge move right at the end. Okay. We were in chop basically through here, right? You never know. You never know when a market's going to do this. Okay. That's one of the great mysteries in trading, right? I know everybody knows what I'm talking about who's ever traded. The great mystery is when do you know, or when can you employ a strategy on chop versus trend? This does it, and that caught the whole move down. All right, and that basically brings us out to the noon hour. But this was a big trade here. This entry was around 45.30. It went down all the way to 45.10. That's 20 handles. That's 80 ticks per contract. That's quite a bit. Here's the Russell. A lot of you trade the Russell. Okay, a lot of you trade the Russell. Would you agree? This market's pure chop, isn't it? Yeah, some of our traders are in here, and I'm seeing their messages. They're trading. They just said they just caught a YM short and a Nasdaq short with the octopus. So again, I apologize. I was all set to go with live markets, and right at the end, there is a problem. So I didn't want to spool it up. But anyway, here's chop. Okay, and here, as I said, start trading the session. A nice short trade here, another short trade here, and then we flipped it out to long. All right, now here's a sequence that didn't work. Okay, you took two trades in here and they did not work, and that's going to happen from time to time. You know, nothing's 100%. If anybody tells you they're 100%, you know that that's not correct, right? But then it went to long and then short. And this is basically the first hour of trading. We're in chop, first hour of trading. Dan, if you request if you send the email, you'll get a response back on that as to what the passwords are. Okay. The blue vertical means you're bullish. Not necessarily law. What it basically means is that the trend, the minor trend, is biased to the upside. Okay, but it doesn't mean it's pure bullish. Okay, because we're still in chop. There's other indicators in here that I'm not showing today, but that you'll see and that you're going to get that'll help you in that respect as well. Okay. So here it was continuing. I showed here was the short trade here. Here's a long trade here that worked, and now here we go. We're breaking out of this chop. Okay, we're in chop basically for the first 2 hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we started to the downside. Okay, you caught this nice big run down, all the way down. And again, the reason I like this so much, it takes the guesswork out of trying to determine what you're going to do. You know, most traders are their worst enemy, right? How many times have you taken a trade or not taken a trade because, well, you talked yourself out of it? Your mind is going to tell you one thing when the markets are really doing something else. And that's why, you know, unless you can overcome all that psychologically, you need to have an objective approach. And that's what this does. Okay. Let's just continue on this. Again, nice big run here on the Russell. All right. So here I want to show again that that was the run you caught all the way to the downside. A little short trade here for a scalp. Now here's the scenario. This first long did not work. This long got you the scalp, and what did it do? It reversed back to short again. And then we started to come out of this little chop back into the run again. Nice trade here and a nice huge trade to the downside. You only need one of these trades to basically make your own trading session. Okay. I think, Justin, you asked the question, what are the exit strategies? Again, just to circle back, the exit strategies are the ATM strategy that you're going to run on this. Okay. The beauty of this is everybody can tailor their exit strategies and their entry strategies to whatever they like. Okay. Uh, some of you like to scalp. Some of you like to take a runner. Others like to take a scalp and a runner. So it's really up to you, and we'll show that in the coming week if you come in. Okay. Here's gold. All right. Now this is one of the indicators that I was talking about. This is the boxing indicator here. All right. Actually, I think I've gone beyond where I want to go here. Yep. But this is another good example here of this is a combination using one of the indicators here. Okay. So basically, uh, you're looking at taking the trades, long or short. Uh, these are one of the indicators that you can use here to help you filter and determine trades. Like I said, there's 20 of these in here. This is one of them. All right, let me circle back here to the website. Again, I want to show this for everybody. I want to show where it is. If you go to the website, first of all, click on free trial download. Okay, if you click on free trial download, here's the download section here. And what you're going to do is here's the octopus trial. Here are the bars. Okay, and then this is a template. Now this template, and I don't want to get into this, this is not a template that goes in Chart Trader. This is a template that you're going to put on your desktop and load. So unless you're familiar with this, please come into the webinar tomorrow and we'll talk about this. Okay, we'll have a live markets analysis in the morning tomorrow. I'm going to show where that is. It's going to be from 6:20 Pacific till 8 a.m. and then I'm going to stay probably another hour beyond that. That's tomorrow's Friday. Another hour beyond that, answering questions and showing how things work here. Okay. So what you're going to need to do if you're going to do the trial, and I recommend everybody do it. Heinz said, can I use the octopus with your own bar types? For the most part, yes, Heinz. There may be one or two uh, types of approaches that may not work depending on the size of your bar, but basically to answer your question, yes. Okay. Now, what I also want to point out here on the website is at the top of the website when you come in, these are all of the webinars that are available to come into for the remainder of this week, and then starting probably on Saturday or Sunday, we'll have the new webinars posted. Okay, and obviously you should come into these. What we do is we have them 6 days a week right now. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are early. They're 9:20 Pacific, 9:20 Eastern rather, 6:20 to 11 a.m. Eastern. All right, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, We have webinars where you can come in later. It's at 1:30. These are more of a support type webinar where we're going into more topics, showing how to do support and things like that. And then always on Saturday in the morning, we have a good one as well. So this week, again, if you click on the link here for Friday, you'll be able to register and come in tomorrow morning. If you click on the link for Saturday, you'll be able to come in there. I'm going to point out that it's going to be really hard to answer individual questions in the next day or two on trials. Okay, so the recommendation is download them and view these videos. Okay, I wanted to point this out, but come into the room the next day. Here are the videos. Okay, on the download site. When you go to the free trial download, get your downloads, but then take the time to view these videos. Okay, this talks about the overview. This talks about some of the features. These are some of the training videos. Okay, and this is the training video for the mini trader. Okay, this is all good information here. Probably about 3 or 4 hours of videos. I recommend everybody view these. Now, some of the parameters have changed a little bit because this has evolved. So in the next sequence, there'll be some more put up probably today and tomorrow because this is about a 7 or 8 series. Question, will Saturday's session be recorded? Yes, it will. Heinz, again, your question on do you send out invitations for the webinars? Sometimes, Heinz, but not usually. Just come to the website and click on it up here. Just come to the website and click on it, and you'll get it. But again, some good videos here for you. Okay, to give you a good overview of what we're talking about here. All right. Again, password. If you send the information here, go to the contact page or request a free trial. Right. If you click on right here, free trial. Fill the form out with your name, the information. You will get an email back with the password that you need. There's actually 2 passwords, one for the download and one for the bars. Phil said, can he delay the trial for a week because you'll be out of town? Yes, absolutely, Phil. Not a problem. You can do that. Okay, we've got about 5 minutes to go before this. Are there any questions? Again, here's the free trial, and then it's going to take you to the download section here where you're going to download it. I believe you can try this. Okay, I believe the password for the trial is capital H, %, capital T, and then trial, TRIAL. Oh, okay. Question on cost, right, Greg? And then Heron asked, do we have to use these HPT bars? They come with it, Heron. They come with the program. As Heinz asked, you don't necessarily have to use them. You can try other types of bars. What I would do is compare the two to see, because not all bars are created equal, and see what your performance is. And I think that's the best answer I can give on that. Yes, question on cost. Okay, this is strictly it's a month-to-month membership. Okay, it's a month-to-month membership. The price is $3.99 per month. Okay, and that gets you the full complete package. There's about 25 indicators in there. I haven't even shown probably the tip of the iceberg in here. There's indicators here that do combine Elliott wave and GAN analysis automatically. You can trade them through the octopus like I'm showing here. Just a number of things. But if you break that down, okay, on a trading basis, that's about I don't know, $12 a day, which is a really good price. If most of you either want to be professional traders or try to trade full time. Uh, what other business that you know of, if you have some capital for your account, can you operate with an overhead of about $12 a day? Not many. Okay, so you don't get locked into some large price. Okay. The other thing I wish to point out, and I didn't get a chance, is a lot of our indicators now work with Bloodhound as well. Okay, a lot of them work with Bloodhound and Shark indicators, and in the future we'll be incorporating more. So I know some of you, a lot of you have Shark and Bloodhound. A lot of them will work there as well. Yes, George, he asked about previous work on bands and zones. Absolutely. This octopus will trade algo bands automatically, high energy time bands automatically, even the wave 5 quarterback bands. It's all incorporated in there. And I wish I could have shown that today, but I had this problem with NinjaTrader just before I came in here. Johnny, no, there's no performance stats on the website for this. Basically, you'll see as you get into it, you're going to pretty much generate your own. Is there right now? There's one template for the trial. Okay, right now there's one template. We'll be putting up a second one as well, and then we're going to show in the webinars how you create your own. Okay. I believe the password, Curtis, is capital H, %, capital T, and then trial in small words, TRIAL. Yeah. Jan's putting in capital H, %, capital T, trial. Donna, if you come on that, come after you take the trial or during the trial, I'll talk about that. I will absolutely talk about that. But you need to come in on the trial first. Bob, I don't know about that question. You can bring that up. Okay, we've got basically 1 minute to go. If there's any final questions. Again, I urge everybody to come in and do this. To request the trial, again, go to the website for free trial, fill it out. There'll be an autoresponder that'll come back to you with the links, and then it's going to take you to free trial download. I have 52 seconds to go here. It's going to take you to that. All right, and then like I said, come up to the top. You can click on the link, come tomorrow, click on the link, come Saturday, and then starting late Saturday or Sunday, come back to the website. You'll see all the links again for next week, okay? All right, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope this was beneficial. I know it will. I know you're going to love the trial. And yes, Denton, you should get the information. All right, that's going to do it for me. Raleigh, thank you very much. I'm going to sign off and turn it over to you. Thanks again, everyone.
Well, I tell you what, thank you, Rich, for that great presentation on how you use the octopus to trade a wide range of futures